1.2 and 1.3, we're going to cover both today. Both of these involving using the opposite operation or the inverse operation. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, so we're going to actually kind of read today at the start because all of the notes are written out there for you. The goal for today is you're going to isolate the variable. You're going to get it by itself. You're going to hear that so many times this year, you're going to literally snore that at night. In fact, when you're snoring at night and your parents are wondering why you're snoring, this just Beckman says it all the time. Your goal is to isolate the variable. What are you going to do? You're going to look at what the operation is to the variable, and you're going to do the opposite. Now, 100% participation. What's the opposite of add? Subtract. What's the opposite of subtract? Add. They go in a little circle. One's the opposite of the other. What's the opposite of multiply? Division. What's the opposite of division? Multiply. That's all we got to know today. That's all we got to know. Hi.
Hi.
You
dropped this off from your brother.
Oh, who's your brother?
Billy.
Billy.
John. Hampton.
He is in the hall right now talking to Mr. Stone. Yeah. What do we think? We're thinking those opposites. That's exactly what you just named. The opposite is subtraction is addition. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. You do have to do a lot of writing today, but I promise after today you will not have to do it. I'll make it a little bit easier after this when we start doing these and have multiple steps. Order of operation is the key, though. It's the key. Helpful hints for today. We always are looking at the side with the variable, and we're going to get rid of fractions first by multiplying every term by the denominator. If you do me a favor real quick, if you got your highlighter, you got your pen or pencil, that's the thing that's going to trip you up today. If you have not figured that out already, I'm big on telling you what's going to trip you up immediately. And then we are going to check our solutions by substituting it back in. The three questions you ask yourself: what's the variable, what's the operation being performed, and what's the inverse? The inverse is just what's the opposite of that operation. Have you, oh yes, you need one of these. So look at that. Yes, have all of that. Then you get it all together. Okay, let's take some notes and show you what you got to do today. Flip over. Let's do the first one. Our example 1 today that we have to do. Example 1 today, we've got x minus 10 is equal to 4. You've probably done this before at some point. Today, what are we looking for? We're looking for you to review it and get 100% on it. So we ask ourselves the question. And let's go for victims. Michaela, what is the variable? X. Somebody else. Tasani, what operation is being performed to X? We are whatting? Subtracting, right. And I'm just going to have you write the symbol. You don't have to write the whole thing. Subtract. Nick, make sure you do ask me before you take off. And just so you know, I will have a little whiteboard over there in a few days, so you just write your name on there, what time you left, and then that's that. What's the opposite of adding? How about this? What's the opposite of subtracting? Adding. Now we got to show our work. Just put the symbol, that's fine. Yes, sir.
Do we have like several time to go to the bathroom?
You have 5 minutes.
No, like times like for
no.
Quarters.
Do it. If you need to be babysat, I have a babysitter for you. In fact, Darius, can I tell you this? I am recording. If it becomes excessive, then I give you this bathroom pass that you have to fill out, and here's the exact script that you write. What's your last name again? Pena. I, Darius Pena, wish to be excused from my mathematics education for 5 and only 5 minutes to go to the bathroom. I promise to come back refreshed with my hands washed and excited and ready to learn math. I'm very aware that if I leave the room, I do have to have the yellow vest on so everybody knows where I'm going. And then I sign it and go. And it tends to take care of the people that need to go like 3 times every single day. I've been teaching long enough. I got the weapons to help you make the right choice. But if you're in high school, Darius, you're between 14 and 19 years old. You know. Like I said, if I have to tell you how to behave, you probably shouldn't be in high school. And I don't want to treat you like a moron. And I realize some teachers treat you like a moron that, we have to punch it or we have to sign or something. You got to go, you got to go. Okay, what do we got to do? We got to show our work. We have x minus 10 is equal to 4. So what are we going to do? This opposite of what's happening. We're minusing 10, so we're going to add 10. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. There it was beautiful. There it is. Do you have to show that plus 10 to both sides? You have to show that every single time. And again, I know I'm a little bit ridiculous in my expectations, but I want you to get it right. No matter who you have next year, I want you to have everything you need to know. Why do we do that? We're balancing it out. If we have two things that are equal, we have to keep them balanced. And I will give you the perfect example. Guys, girls, let's pretend you got a boyfriend, man, you love this guy. And you think this relationship is equal. So you go up to me, you're like, honey, 0 to 100%, what percent do you love me? And guys go, man, that's a trap question. There's only one right answer to this. So you say 100%. And she's like, good. I knew we were going to love each other equally because I love you 100% too. Here's the bad news, though. If you say 100% and she says 65%, are those quantities equal? No, but let's pretend you just started dating. Like, you just bought her the graphing calculator for the first date. You go on the first date. It goes, you're like, oh, I like you. I kind of love you like 15%. And she's like, okay, yeah, 15% too. That works out. And then you have really good in the second date. You're like, I love you 10% more. For it to still be equal, she would have to do what? She'd have to love you 10% more too. Or another life example, like how many of you have a sibling? How many of you have a younger sibling? How many of you have an older sibling? Yeah, and it tends that the younger kids always get what? They always get better stuff, right? They get more money, they get to stay out later, they get the car first, everything. I got a little brother too that just mooches off my parents and he's 26. They still pay his insurance, they still pay his rent, they still pay for his food. That's not fair. And you as an older kid, you said, well, if you give my brother $25, you should give me $25 too. Like, I like having stuff for free just because I'm not mooching off you. And that's what we have to do. To keep this equal, we have to add the same amount to both sides. We have to do the same thing to both sides, and that's what we're going to do to keep those equal. Do you have to show that work? Absolutely. I swear, I'll give you 0 credit if you don't show that work. You have to show the work. Why? Because that's how I can help you. When you're done with that step, I have you draw a line through it to show that you're done. Now, minus 10 cancels out of plus 10, so we just have an x left on that side. 4 plus 10 is 14. Stop and check up. Questions from you guys? Do you have to check your work? Yes, you do. I'm that mean. I know. Plug everywhere there's an x in the original problem, you plug in what you think the answer is. 14 minus 10 is equal to 4. And what's 14 minus 10? 4. Is 4 equal to 4? Yes, that's how you know you're right. Because you're excited and you're right, you put a smiley face. What do you do with your answer? You put a box around it so nobody has any doubt what your answer is. Do you have to check them? Yes, I'll ask you to check them today. Do you have to write those inverse operations? Yes, I'll ask you to write those inverse operations today. Mr. Stone, did Will's brother happen to stop by? Okay, gotcha, okay. Stop and check up. Questions from you guys? Easy enough? How many think you do the next one on your own? How many want some help, some instruction? How many are going to raise your hands no matter what I have to say? Let's have you be a risk. You can't raise your hand twice, Brett. You either do or you don't. Let's have you be a risk taker. Try this one out on your own. What is the variable? What operation is being performed to the variable? What's the inverse of that? And then show your work on that puppy. Your marks get set now. Marks get set now. Those of you that done YouTube, you guys have to understand. You have to check, yeah, you got to check. I won't make you check all of them. Make sure you put a box on the final answer, highlight it. "30 seconds to finish it up." Let's Why not? Let's call in some victims here. Briley, you haven't talked yet today. What is the variable in this particular one? K. Somebody else. Brett, what's the operation being performed to K? Adding, right? Plus. Dasani, what's the opposite of, what's the inverse of adding? Subtracting. Somebody else. I had volunteers come up too. I want to say Alyssa, but I feel that's not right. Alyssa, good. Alyssa, what do we do first?
You add 5.
Close. It's being added.
Oh, you subtract.
There you go. Yep, you minus 5 from both sides. Let's pick on somebody. Darius, do you have to show that step? Yeah, that's just how math works. You got to show that part out. Somebody else volunteer? What do we got after that? Dominic. Yep, they cancel. What's -5 minus 5 more? Anybody? Close. -10. Yep, -10 is equal to K. Stop and check up. Questions you got? Done it before? Got it all down? Do you have to check it? Yeah, no. Oh, man, we're mean here. -5 is equal to -10 plus 5. What's -10 plus 5? -5. Is -5 equal to -5? Yep, and you're so excited you put what? Smiley face, right on. Stop and check out questions from you guys. There you go, now it's good. Mr. Stone, suggestions, different way of saying it? Something you want him to show?
I was going to think it was like a weight bar. When I think about equations, weights, you have 10 pounds on one side, you have 10 pounds on the other. If you take 5 away from one side, you need to take 5 away from the other side. It's always about balance. When you do equations like this, it's always about balance. It's a weight bar. If you add to one side, you add to the other. If you subtract from one side, you subtract from the other. You should always keep it balanced.
All right, let's take a look at the next one. I'm going to ask one question, then I'll let you do it on your own. What's the operation there? Multiplication. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. On your marks, get set, math. Let's give you 1 minute and 10 seconds. Overachieving. Overachieving. Make sure you check it at the end. You got to check, make sure it's right. Will, do you have your note sheet with you, sir? Do you have your note sheet with you? The packet I gave you for notes for this chapter. Okay, I'll give you what we did so far. Okay, anybody want to come up and do it? Show us. Darius, I think was up first though, sir. Look at this. You get to be internet famous. All right, class.
So you see this little thing here?
Whoa, Darius. I'm gonna give you the very first day of teaching. You see Devin talking back there? You got to get him to stop talking, because if he ain't listening, it don't matter how well you teach. Shh.
Okay, so that's another number right there. When we have two numbers next to each other, that means it's multiplication. So you put your little x multiplication in here, and the opposite of that is division. So we divide 7 from both sides, and 7 divided by 56 is 8. Very good, class. Now we are good children, so we check our work, correct? Correct. Yay.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Any questions?
Give a round of applause for your break, please. Round of applause. Woo! Now, this is the moment, ladies and gentlemen, if you saw Derek go up there and teach that, when he is a a math teacher with that, when you guys have kids, and you see Mr. Pena on that list, and you're like, no way, it could be. And you walk into a paradigm, and you're like, no way. Because his hair's gonna be out to hear about that too. So you walk in, you're like, I remember that moment. In Algebra 1, Mr. Beck and Mr. Stone, you walked up there, that was the moment you knew you were gonna be the high school math teacher. Is that what you wanted to be, sir? No? Not even a little bit? Worst nightmare? Okay, let's take a look at the next one. I want you to, the next one we got to talk about. Oh, I need you. Oh, all right. I don't need a child behind, Will. Okay, look at the next page. What's the next one? What's going to be harder about that one?
It's division.
Division, right on. It's division, right on. Let's do that one together. In fact, I will end up doing the next two together with you. Next one. Let's do the easy part first, man. Who has not talked yet today? You totally talk. Somebody else who hasn't talked yet today. Devin, you want, I see that look on your face, that smile. I know you want to answer. Devin, what's the variable in that one? Okay, right on. That's good. Who else hasn't talked yet today? Miranda, I don't think you've talked yet today. What is the operation being performed, Decay? Division. So somebody else. Dasani, what is the opposite of division or the inverse? Multiplication. So here's what we're going to do, and this is going to feel kind of weird. We're going to multiply both sides by a -5. We're going to multiply both sides by a -5. The -5 cancels out the -5. That's why we did it. A negative times a negative is and 5 times 4 is 20 is equal to K. Okay. Questions on that? Nick, I'm just about to, though. I was just about to be done with this one, but then I had to remember to what? Check. Thank you, Nick, a.k.a. Tanner. You stole his thunder. Check it out. -4 is equal to 20 over -5. Either off the top of your head or off your calculator, what is 20 divided by -5? Okay, -4. Is that equal to -4? You're so excited you put a what? Smiley face. And Will, when you're doing those, don't forget the smiley faces. That's how you get that good feeling about being successful in math. You still got to do the box. Thank you. Yep. Still got to do the box. Thank you.
You did not do the box on any question.
I did not. Can you box it for me so I don't look bad? Okay. Example 3. Before you get one more to try. Example 3 is what's bad about this one? It's got a what? Fraction. In a fraction, what do we call the thing on top? It's called the what? No? Numerator. What's the thing on bottom called? Denominator. Notice how it says, is over there. When you have a fraction, you will multiply by the denominator first. Because this is kind of weird, but when you have a fraction, you are dividing. Like when you get a pizza, if you get 5/9 of the pizza, that means you cut it into 9 slices. You divided it into 9 slices, and you got 5 of them. Or you cut the pie into 9 slices, you got 5 of them. So it's division first. That's what we're going to get rid of. So I'm going to model this one for you and then ask you to do the next one. When you have 5/9, we're going to multiply that by the denominator. The denominator is 9, so we multiply both sides by 9. Somebody help me out. 35 times 9. Ugh. This is a great time. Take your calculator out real quick. I don't know that one off the top of my head. You probably don't know that one off the top of your head unless you happen to memorize this last night. 315. Okay. So on this side, I got 315. This is where I want you to stop and think. What is left over here? Talk to the person sitting next to you. There's somebody next to you. Talk to somebody already. What is left over there? There. Good job. Wrap up your conversation. Wrap up your conversation. Volunteer, what's left on that side? Dasani, 5V, right, because the 9 cancels out the 9. So what's left? 5V. Hallie, what's the operation between 5 and V? So what are we going to do to get rid of 5?
Divide it by 5.
Bam, divide both sides by 5. Great job, guys. 315 divided by 5 gives you what? I don't know that one off the top of my head. I'm going to see if I can. 63, right on. 63.
Oh, so now we have to check.
Good news, you do not have to check the ones with the fractions. That's not what I'm aiming for here today. You can, of course, write the smiley face. Dominic, what's that? Yes, just wear that sweet vest. Anybody else? Stop and check up. Questions? Okay, try the one on your own down beneath. Now, even worse, this one has a what? Negative. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to write off to the side. I want this problem to be 9 is equal to. The negative goes with the top. So I want you to rewrite it as negative 3 over 8R. Let's have a little strategy session first. The first thing you're going to do is multiply both sides by what number? 8. Right on. Go ahead. Try it out on your own. Try it out on your own. Do that risk taker. Try it out on your own. You got questions with it? Yep. Yes. Oh, your phone? I decided I gotta have my phone when you gotta have your phone. Mine's right there.
Then you can get yours, so it's fair, right?
Well, no. I don't want you to have that. I want you to be successful. Good job. Real quick, stop walking around. Don't forget, is that 3 positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Don't forget that's a negative. Calculator? How are we going to get one this weekend? Girlfriend? Well, you can show it. 3 flowers. Flowers die. That's calculator, you can offer it. Well, true.
Why don't people give like?
That's why when you get one, they should get you like Costco. Can't afford batteries? If you can't afford batteries, I'll let you not longer, they don't have to have others. All right, does anybody want to be really brave and try this one out? Tanner, you want to try it out? Okay. What's that? Looks good to me.
You're not supposed to check these, but okay, so I started out
Tanner,
with
what's first rule teaching?
okay.
Now you can stop talking. It doesn't matter how well you teach, they aren't listening to it.
Okay. So what I did first is I times 8 and 8 here. So this cancels out, and 8 times 9 is 72. So, and then I equals R, and then I divided the negative 3 by both. This is negative 24 equals R.
Questions for Tanner? Is that right?
No.
That's right. Yeah, that's right on. That's correct.
It's not boxed.
Oh, yes, Tanner, you forgot to box it.
Oh, and I also forgot the smiley face.
Oh, that's a free box.
This
I did it on one test last year. I'm not kidding. It took 15, 20 minutes off the test. You just got looking. There. Okay, questions on that? Okay, the trick with fractions is you got to multiply by the what first? The denominator, right? You got to multiply by the denominator first. What questions do you have for us on how to get this? What questions do you have? Everybody totally gets this. I'm not lying to you guys. If I walk down the office right now and I walk in Mr. King's office, I'm like, Mr. King, everybody in Algebra 1 got this today. I'm not
I
going to
don't
lie
get
to
it
you.
at all. It makes no sense. It's like a foreign language.
Foreign language? We'll get you. You missed a little bit of that instruction time. We'll get you. Is there a question I can answer right now?
Yes. How do you get to that?
Give me just a sec. Give me just a sec. Questions? Okay. Let's take a look at what the rest we got. In fact, I might just call it right there. Okay, let's take a look at the next page, example 4. We got to do that one. We got to do it. Example 4, can I be flipped to it? Can I get a volunteer to read it for me? You're tired of hearing me talk. Tanner, somebody else hasn't talked to you today. Yes, Brett, correct? Brett, fire away. Can you read example 4 to us?
One method to estimate rates for preference is that we read the average using this method, right, to solve the equation for the part rate of 8
Okay, think about that for just a second. Okay, one estimate of the maximum heart rate states that your age added to your maximum heart rate is 220. Write and solve an equation that would find the maximum heart rate for a 15-year-old. So notice we broke it down. The thing we don't know, the variable is the maximum heart rate you're going to have. The things we know that are key from up there is we have to add your age to your maximum heart rate. So kind of duh, but what operation are we going to do? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Yeah, it's a duh question because it says that. Is 220. Is a great math word for what symbol? What symbol? Nick. Equals, right. Is a great symbol for equals. And then your age. Your equation for this one. So we got to add. So we got to have a plus. What are the two things we're going to add? Your maximum heart rate, which we're going to let be R, plus your age. And we want to find age for a 15-year-old. So your maximum heart rate plus 15 is equal to 220. Is, again, that great word for equals. Let me make that a little more straight. Sorry, I was at an angle here. What do you have to do to get rid of that plus 15, Devin? Minus 15 for both sides. Devin, off the top of your head, do you happen to know what 220 minus 15 is? 205. What's the units on that? Because now we're real life. We got to put units. What's the units? Age or heart or beats per minute? Beats per minute. Okay.
25 is it?
That's the maximum. That's like as high as it could get. So imagine you're like Melendrez has got you and you're going crazy CrossFit. The maximum you can get.
195 on my mom's heart rate.
Well, how's your mom?
Huh? No, on me.
On you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Maybe you weren't scared enough.
No, I was just,
Melendrez is pretty good at scaring people into
he's
getting that
not
heart.
scary at all.
Nuts.
If he touches you, you can get him arrested and put in jail.
Okay.
You lose everything.
Okay, next one. You try it. Let's have somebody else read it. Somebody else that wanted to read last time I get to. Hallie. Okay, what's the thing we don't know? What's the variable? What's the quantity that can change? Tanner. You know how many people that are?
We're there before.
Okay. What letter should we use to abbreviate that? P. Does it? Are you wrong if you don't use P?
No.
No, you can use any letter you want. So let's P. P is the P is our variable, and it is the number. It's the number of people that were in town. Is it originally or after the decrease? Originally. Okay. Okay, what are the key things in this? Well, what are some key things we need to know? What key math words are in there? Devin? 20 years? Darius? 850. And what else? Oh, thank you. Thank you, because it shows the entire screen up here. It doesn't show what it shows up there. Kate?
Decrease by 275.
And decrease is a clever way of saying what operation? Subtract, right. 850, I want to put something after that. Is that how many people originally or how many people that were left? Left. It's a decrease by 275, yes, sir. So we have our variable. It is decreased by 275, and we have 850 left over. So P minus 275 is equal to 850. 850, how about 50?
Hey, what example? Oh,
The U try.
we're on the stage.
Yep, yes, sir. Okay, how do you solve that for P? Do it on your own real quick. Let's give you 30 seconds. Solve it for P on your own. Okay, what should we do? How much? Okay. Oops. Oh, there it goes again. Add 275. What's 850 plus 275? Anybody? Devin? 1125. Okay. I put a box around it because I'm all excited. Smiley face because I feel I'm right. I missed a half point on this one though. What do I got to put because it's a real life? No, check it. Yeah, units. Units, you got to explain what it is. What's the units on this? People. Or you could say people originally or people that started out in the town. But you do have to put something when it's a real life situation. Stop and check up. Again, and I ask this a lot, but I want this to be heartfelt. Questions from you guys that you need to understand this. Devin. Yes, sir. Just wear the sweet vest. Okay, goal for today. You can reverse that operation. These are called one-step equations because there's just one step to it. With addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Any questions on that? Okay, just hold up your hand real quick. 5 means I got this. I could teach somebody this. 1 means I wish I had any clue what was going on. 3, kind of like I feel like I could do pretty good on this homework tonight. What you got? 4.5. Okay, that's 3.5 though.
Oh.
There,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay, that's pretty good. Lots of 4s, lots of 5s. All right, let's have you. Let's go straight to the homework. I'll stop the broadcast.